Hi, Nancy Moss here today. I'm with Mara Gordon. If you are one of the few people that lives under a rock and don't know Mara, my kids always tell me Google it. So if you don't know Mara, Google her. Hi, Mara. Thanks for joining us.
It's my pleasure, Nancy. Thank you for having me.
Tell us what you're up to these days.
Well, we're living in very strange times,
Great.
and COVID in some ways has been kind of a blessing as much as a curse, in that I've had an opportunity to not having to travel all the time. So I've had the ability to focus and assess and really take a look at what I'm doing and being a human being instead of just a human doing. And in doing so, it had an opportunity to take a look at the last 10 years of my journey with Aunt Zelda's and cannabis and Zalera therapy, all of it, and to see, okay, how close am I to my original goal when I joined this space? My goal from the very first day was to make it possible for physicians to recommend proper dosing and varietals of cannabinoid based therapies to their patients, not instead of, not like it's a panacea or a miracle, but just to incorporate it into their medical toolbox.
Right.
Because uh I was a, like, I personally was a severe pain patient. I was on fentanyl patch, I was on all these things, and at no point, and I was in California and Colorado, and not a single doctor ever mentioned to me that cannabis was an option to help to alleviate pain. In fact, when I decided to get off of all of the opioids and the other drugs, because frankly, they're great for acute pain, but not for long term care, they don't work chronically. There was nothing else. So I ended up taking ridiculous amounts of NSAIDs. And the doctors were like, "We're so sorry. We don't have anything else to give you." Oh my gosh. Did they ever have it wrong?
Right.
So I decided nobody should have to suffer the way I had. So I was going to figure this out. I spent all these years with Aunt Zelda's creating these products so that we understood. We were started lab testing in the beginning of 2011. I had was able to match the profiles of the chemovars to the disease and the patient and the dosing, and give these medicines to patients, get the feedback on what was working, what wasn't working, all of that, so that we could keep getting smarter and smarter and getting closer to nailing it the first time. During that time, of course, I trained a myriad of doctors and nurses, um, and kept on my path towards this. Then, lo and behold, 2016, we got more than a different uh, administration. We also got Prop 64 in California,
Right.
which was the introduction of adult use, and allowed in California. And what that did was destroyed the our ability to treat patients directly, because everything has to go through these different license silos. And you can be vertically integrated in California, but you don't have to be. Um, and frankly, to be vertically is unbelievable amounts of money to do that. The millions and millions of dollars it takes to get set up to do that is definitely prohibitive, or it certainly was for us, and for many people that were the old timers like me, working in this long before legalization. So now patients were going from being able to get our medicine that they knew was specific, either compounded for them, or they knew it was specific for what their needs and how to use it, to going to a dispensary or a delivery service where somebody is incentivized to upsell them, or the bud tender says, "I really like to smoke Blue Dream." Like, what does that have to do with grandma's cancer? I mean, that kind of thing. It just, and so
Exactly.
patients more and more were coming back to us and saying, "I went to the dispensary. They didn't give me anything like what you talked about. And I tried it and it was horrible. and I'm not going to use cannabis anymore. Or one patient of ours in particular that was just heartbreaking. She is a breast cancer patient that we'd been treating for years and years, and she was doing great. And then once Prop 64, she had to go to the dispensary to buy our medicine, and they doubled the price of it. We were
No.
always we always kept our price point basically at cost, because it was
Yeah.
more about the data than it was about profits. We were an R&D company, you don't worry about it at that point.
Right.
And so it became out of reach financially for her. So she cut her dose in half,
No.
which was not a therapeutic dose. And now we're treating her again for metastatic cancer because it spread when it came back. So that's one of the not, unfortunately, not untypical stories as a result of Prop 64. It's been this ridiculous race to houses of brands and all this crap that has nothing to do with the patient. The patient is completely lost in the shuffle.
I'd agree with that.
Right.
I know that for years you have been very conscientious about what you recommend to people, and you've done the research and have the database. You
Right.
know what products could be useful,
Right.
and,
Right.
and that has to be frustrating.
It's been extremely frustrating. So I thought I can be frustrated, or I can figure out how to fix it.
There you go.